Okay, I'd like to welcome everybody. I hope everybody had a nice, safe, and healthy 4th of July. On a good note, the fire department, I think, only responded to 2 alarms, and neither one of them was actually a fire. And then we did respond to a helicopter landing for somebody that actually got slightly hurt playing with firecrackers. But other than that, it was pretty good. And the weather's been great, can't complain. All right, we'll start off approving the minutes of the board meeting held on June 26, 2013. So moved.
They should be withdrawn.
Okay. Let me run the tape backwards on that one. I'm just Inspector Newbell will be up in a minute. He's check something out for me. What do you want to start with?
Do the public hearings.
Okay. Resolution under Chapter 180, the removal of unsafe buildings at 72 Cranberry Drive.
Drew, maybe in the back, right? Okay. Is anyone here from 72 Cranberry Drive? Property owner at 72 Cranberry Drive? Mr. Mayor and members of the Board of Trustees, this is a hearing for inspection of Chapter 180 of the Code of the Village of Mastic Beach, entitled Unsafe or Hazardous Building Conditions, Property or Structure. 72 Cranberry Drive was previously reported on dates of inspections May 15th and June 11th. The reports were distributed to the board. The property is in deplorable shape. It had suffered from a fire. It's been abandoned. There are overgrown tree issues on the property. It is an attractive nuisance based upon the exposed ability for people to get into the house. It was published with an affidavit of service on Gene Geiwald, G-E-I-W-A-L-D. Mr. Geiwald. Long Beach Mortgage Company and Deutsche Bank National Trust Company. The affidavit of service is part of the record with the notice in order to remove. The chief building inspector recommends that under Chapter 180, this property be deemed unsafe and it be demolished. Okay. Public comment? Nope. Just a resolution.
I'll make the resolution. I'll make the resolution under Chapter 180 for the removal of the unsafe building at 72 Cranberry Drive. So moved. Seconded by Gary. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? None? Carried. Next one is a resolution under Chapter 180, the removal of unsafe building at 207 Forest Road West.
Members of the mayor, members of the board of trustees, this is calling the inspection of Chapter 180 of the Code of the Village of Mastic Beach, unsafe or hazardous building conditions, property or structure, 207 Forest Road West. Anyone here, 207 Forest Road West? Again, this was a property that was inspected on May 16th and June 11th by Chief Building Inspector Timothy Brozier. The packets and the reports were in your previous files and are in your files for tonight. This property again is an abandoned property in deplorable condition, dangerous, poorly maintained, fencing is down, overgrown shrubs, also an unsafe and unsecured pond. The house is filled with rats, raccoons, and infestation of insects. The pictures speak 1,000 words in the quality of, or lack of quality of the house. The village clerk caused to be served the notice and order to remove on Michael B. Devlin Jr. Michael B. Devlin Jr., Washington Mutual Bank, and J.P. Morgan Chase Bank. On recommendation of Chief Building Inspector that the board recommend that this house be declared unsafe and recommended for demolition under Chapter 180 of the Village Code.
Okay, I'll make a resolution under Chapter 180, the removal of an unsafe building at 207 Forest Road West.
Second.
Seconded by Trustee Music. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? None? Carried.
You want to move on quick public hearings? You done with everything?
Yeah.
Call the last one, number C.
Resolution to amend Chapter 380, Section 380-5, rental permits from biannual to annual.
This is a recommendation from the building department. This is, by the way, this is a public hearing, so it's a public comment. This is a recommendation from the building department on a recommendation that was in the code to correct an error in the initial enactment of the code that provided for biannual permits, twice yearly. That every 6 months, that's just cumbersome and burdensome for people to get that application every 6 months for a rental permit. So all this is doing is just correcting it from moving it from biannual to annual. So on an annual basis, landlords have to get the rental permit. Just correcting that one error.
Open up for public comment, is any? Seeing none, make a motion to close the public portion. Second. And I'd also like to make a recommendation, Chapter 380, Section 380-5 for the rental permits be changed from biannual to annual. So moved. Seconded by Gail. All in favor? Opposed, none? Okay. Inspector Newbauer, good evening, and you're up.
Thank you. A couple things. Crime-wise, for the last month, I just looked at the statistics here for the last month in the precinct. We've had a number of significant incidents in other parts of the precinct. Mastic Beach, however, has been relatively calm. Very few, hardly any burglaries, assaults, robberies, practically non-existent in the last 30 days, or at least through this past Sunday, through the 7th. We had, unfortunately, a number of other major incidents in East Riches, Manorville, but nothing really down here. The 4th, we had a problem over on Whittier Drive. There was kind of a fireworks show down there. We had some issues with the residents there and the folks that have had past experiences with the police department, so there's nothing unusual about that. We had an issue with the reservation on the 4th. Obviously, a lot of fireworks going off there. We didn't make any arrests, but we came close to that. As you may or may not know, Joe Suarez, one of our former Coke sergeants, who moved him into one of our plainclothes units a few months ago. I just made a move on another sergeant into Coke, so Mike is going to have a little assistance now. That sergeant is Jimmy Brosco. Many of you know him. He spent a lot of time down here right after Sandy, so he's well familiar with the area. He's working days this week. Probably next month's meeting, we should swing for the night tour, and I'll bring him down here to introduce him to you. I think Mike has a few things in the way of statistics.
Yeah, a couple of things. We started enforcing the Mastic Beach Village warrants that come out. Originally, for my list in the system, we had 15 defendants. We're down to 10 defendants. They either came in and vacated the warrants. On June 19th, we arrested one of the defendants who had 12 warrants. One of the co-officers arrested. So, we're doing some enforcement on them. So, the ordinances definitely have some bite now if they don't answer their tickets. Basically, if someone gets issued an ordinance violation and they don't answer their court date, it becomes a warrant. Well, now we're enforcing, we'll be there to arrest. That's that. From last month's meeting, somebody mentioned Elm and Mauritius. Well, since last meeting, we did 28 checks there, 9 summonses, 1 car stop resulted in an arrest, and 2 warnings. I'm sure you saw them down there. Yep. Okay.
Thank you.
That's all I have.
Anybody have any questions?
I do.
Or issues? Yes.
Not to shock people, but I do know that I had federal agents stationed outside my house 2 weeks ago.
Federal agent?
Federal agent, I was told by the police department, it's a federal agent.
Really? From what agency?
They didn't tell me, I didn't ask questions. I just was concerned because the person had been staked outside my house for quite some time. I asked at the last meeting that they possibly have somebody undercover or somebody out on foot in my area, which is Forest, Dogwood, around that area, County. Prior to what happened just recently, there's drugs going on all the time there lately. And there's some other issues going on there that I know the police are aware of on my block alone.
On
Forest.
Forest.
On Forest. Well, it's all before that one, but also on Forest. There's a lot going on there, and it's not, I'm not the only one that sees what's going on. People know what's going on, the police have to know what's going on.
We have a couple of targets on Forest.
But my thing was, is I really do need to have somebody patrolling the night. You know?
We're out at night.
I know, but not in his You know, that's something I asked 2 months ago. I had brought it up at the meeting that we really do need somebody out there at night watching what's going on. I have a dog who works 24/7 and that's his shift, so, you know, unfortunately, if it wasn't for him, I probably would have plenty of neighbors who wouldn't sleep. And that's sad because they're elderly people that are really having a hard time with it.
Is it early evening or?
No, it's afternoon. It's like 1:30, you know, it's later in the evening.
Is that traffic on the road, or are you talking about one particular?
No, I'm talking about traffic, foot traffic.
Foot
These are the
traffic.
people who are on foot at night that don't belong in the area that are out there.
Are they hanging out at one particular residence that you're aware
I'm
of?
not out watching to see where they're going, but they're up and down my block on foot.
Yes.
As it turns out, I live right on the block. It happens that there was a crime scene band, so 2 or 3 police over on that corner.
Yes. Yeah, in fact, I just made a phone call on that to the precinct, something that I'm not gonna have the full report on it until tomorrow morning, because it was an incident that occurred during the, actually, back up. Story. It was around, well, it was about 2:30, 2:45 in the morning. A woman residing on Dogwood hears what she presumed to have been fireworks. It woke her up, believing it was fireworks. She just went back to sleep. She gets up in the morning, first thing in the morning, she notices some holes in the house that turned out to be bullet holes. So she calls 911. We get the detectives down there this morning. The day tour detective goes down, recovers some shell casings on the front of the property, and recovers some spent round, at least one, in the house. So right now, we're looking for witnesses. We did a neighborhood canvass. We have the rounds and the shell casings recovered, and obviously it's an open investigation, but we have no one that made any 911 calls last night about the time that this occurred. So we have right now, unfortunately, nothing to go on unless, as a result of a knocking on doors, somebody, gives us some information that we can work on. But that's the story.
Just kind of, I'm sorry.
My name is,
Back up what she was saying about foot traffic and everything. First off, there's a guy on Comac, and there's like that 3-way intersection of Flower, the Hackensack.
Right, a little kind of,
Yeah, there's a guy hanging out on Comac, he shows up, you gotta catch him at the right time, but you gotta for it. So,
it shows up on foot or
foot, he's kind of standing there hanging out, waiting for a bus. But he's, and every once in a while, through the years, I'll, be motoring through, and there he is, hanging in a car, doing something. He turns around and looks at me.
This is during the day or?
Generally, usually before 10 o'clock.
Okay.
That's what I think. So, and there's also, there is a lot of foot traffic.
Yeah.
You can't stop, people walk, it's the kind of neighborhood that it is. But yeah, there's a lot of foot traffic.
Yes.
I'm right now staying on the corner of Monroe. There's a lot of foot traffic and people on bicycles casing the house. And my neighbor noticed it on Hemlock, all over. Since it got warm, there's a lot of kids on bicycles with backpacks they don't belong there, and there's a lot, like they said, a lot of foot traffic, a lot of bicycles. And I actually thought that I heard a firework, and it sounded like a gunshot, and it was only one.
This is last night?
Yeah. Everybody said it was a firecracker. Lance, he was at work, he's been working 16 on, 8 off, and I was like, that wasn't a firework, it was a gunshot.
What time was this last night? Do you remember?
No, but it was, you could tell the difference between a firework and a gunshot.
Well, not always.
No, I know, I know. It scared the hell out of me, and it was only one, I mean,
What we see, obviously, we can't stop all kids that are riding bicycles with backpacks, but what we've found is that, as I know I said to this group before, we get a lot of car break-ins, people that break a window or just look in a car, steal valuables that are inside, and more often than not, it's either a pedestrian or somebody on the bike with a backpack, and the backpack is the stick, the GPS, or the wallet, whatever they lift out of the car goes into the backpack. So it's not always an innocent kid happen to be riding his bike.
With the
There's a
backpack.
backpack, there's a reason there.
They're too old for backpacks, the ones that carry the backpack.
Yeah.
Exactly, yeah.
Everybody has a backpack. I have a backpack. I go to the beach, I have a backpack.
Yeah, but you're not the ones taking it out of these streets,
Yeah, I
Mike,
know,
but you
I
know
know
what you're
that,
doing.
I know that, I know. It's tough sometimes because, as you know, and you have been following the stories of New York City and what they're encountering with their stop and frisk policies. We have to do the same thing, we engage in the same type of activity, and, you can't stop everybody. You have to be careful. So,
I think we just have to look out for each other, you know what I mean?
you're on Monroe?
Yeah, I was on Hemlock, I lost my home, to the hurricane, but I'm on the corner of Monroe. And there's another couple that just moved in, catty corner to me. I don't know if it's a legal apartment or not, but the police have been there like 6 times already. They've had the drug dogs there, you know, the canines there. Or they just moved in. I don't know if it's a legal apartment or not. And every other time you turn around, they got police there with domestic violence. The lady's crazy. She's like a few slices short of a sandwich. You know, and they're just wasting police time. No, I call him as I see him. She's whack.
Yeah, okay, I don't doubt what you're saying. I don't doubt what you're saying.
You know, it's ridiculous. What, you know, you're wasting these people's time. Is it a legal apartment or isn't it like?
Well, if you have the address, I'm sure you can discuss that with him. Obviously, it's come on our radar if you've seen the police there.
Yeah. And quite a bit. It's just like
Yeah, let us know what the,
Yeah.
they don't have the address, so I don't know if it's a phone
It,
Tell us
yeah.
after the meeting.
I don't know like the number, but if you're at the front door of my house, Dad's house on Monroe, it's like catty corner, and the hedges are covering it.
What's the crush rate?
Dog what? Cedar.
Make sure we're on the help tonight, let me know.
No, I'm asking my neighbor Bill. My used to be neighbor Bill, and we're like, I don't know.
So, Cedar and,
There's a mess of there's a mess of hedges in front. You can't, and they got some kind of dog and all kinds of crap going on.
Okay, up front.
Just have a question. I've noticed 2 times I've noticed the drug deal, you know, very casual. What happens if they get arrested? Because it seems like they don't really care a lot. Like in the middle of, in front of Nino's, I had to stop while they did their deal from the car. I just hands this thing from my back, drive up in the car, the sidewalks off. There's no even acting like they're hiding. Do they just get a smack on the wrist and go home? Is that what it is?
Well, it's a possession, it could be a misdemeanor or it could be a felony, depending on the way that, you know, more often than not, we get the person possessing it, and that charge is possession of a controlled substance. Unless that individual has a rap sheet a mile long, undoubtedly a probation offense, undoubtedly. Well, I mean,
I'm not blaming you.
no, I'm just saying, I'm trying to be as forthright as I can. Is there no real fear? Probably not.
It looks very casual. Can I borrow a cigarette?
Yeah, that's all it is. It's a quick 2-second encounter, and that's it. Almost like a handshake. It's a handshake, yeah, it's a handshake. Anyone else? Yes.
Have we ever thought of like the idea to maybe stop this 24-hour-a-day, gas stations and things like that, and maybe like if we close these things like other people do at certain hours, maybe we wouldn't have so much of this crap going on.
Well, that's an interesting observation.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
You're just inviting trouble.
If you had places closed at 12 o'clock at midnight or 2 in the morning, is that going to keep people that have larceny in their heart off the streets? I don't think so. Would it help if those 24-hour locations are hangouts? Yeah, that would help, but as far as negatively impacting crime, I don't think it's going to have much of an effect whatsoever. Anyone else? Bill, anything?
No, we're doing good. I mean, anybody that knows any location, just let us know, and we'll try to keep our code enforcement guys right around here. Unfortunately, we don't have code enforcement after 12 o'clock at night, but maybe we have to see, maybe I'll put somebody on, midnight date or something. The court.
For us, you need a hand on something.
Definitely.
All right, I'll see you next month.
All right, thank you very much, like always. Thank you so much. Okay, moving right along. I'd like to make a resolution authorizing the payment of the present bills as per abstract 2-2013 in the amount of $130,822.64. So moved.
Second.
All in favor? Nobody opposed. Ratification authorizing an extension for the payment of property taxes to July 2nd, 2013 without penalty. So moved.
Gail.
Second by Gail. All in favor?
All in favor, opposed?
No opposed. And just to let everybody know what that was, there was a mistake in probably approximately 40 to 50 taxes that were sent out this year. The return date on it was July 2nd, where most of us it was July 1st. People did come in July 2nd. Very small group. Some were a little upset that there was a penalty. I personally tried to reach out to everyone that was involved with that to apologize. It was a clerical error on behalf of the person that not anybody in the village we sent it out to do. And the good note is you'll be getting a refund in the mail hopefully by Friday with another apology note from myself. So again, I apologize on behalf of the mistake. So,
Yeah, I'd like to thank you personally. I was one of the residents that stopped in on the second. I was a little upset, but redeemed my faith. And
again, the frustration level was very high that day.
I was a little pissed off. I was on my way home from work. I knew I had to stop in. And it wasn't about the money. It was about the
just the principle. And when somebody makes a mistake, you have to own up to it.
That was it.
And that's what we did. We owned up to the mistake.
Thank you.
We're big enough to take it on the chin. So.
I was told it was in the newspaper. I mean, I was one of the people too who got put in on that one. I was told it was in the newspaper. What newspaper did they inform me that it was?
What was it?
I don't know. They told me when I went to go pay my bill. They said, well, you were informed of that it was from June 1st to July 1st in the newspaper here, there, and the other.
On the website.
Where?
It could have been the website and the flyer that was sent out
And if
2
we
months
don't
ago.
have a computer?
Yeah, no, it was a mistake.
No, I mean, that was,
No, no.
and I was
They
upset
corrected
too,
it.
and then, the security guard came out and he was standing there with his phone, like, okay, we're gonna pay lady, or what, it was a little intimidating, like,
I mean, the best way for me to put it, and again, I was not there, but when we found out about it, it was definitely corrected. just ask for my phone number. When you walk out of there fuming, say, I want the mayor's phone number.
They won't give it to
And
you. They won't give it to you.
they're instructed to get my phone number
They will
out
not
all the
give it
time.
to you. No.
631-478-1300. It's a very simple number. Okay. We don't have nothing else other than,
Now you got the whole other side,
what's that?
second side.
Okay, resolution to set a public hearing on August 13, 2013 to amend chapter 260, section 260-1-4 to include a mortgage as a definition of owner.
This is just to set the public hearing.
Okay.
Discuss that.
I'll make the motion to do that on August 13th.
Second.
All in favor? Opposed, none? Resolution authorizing exclusion of the Long Island Intergovernment Regulations Purchasing Council, what is it, tough one? Intermunicipal agreement.
This is to allow the village to save money when they have pool purchasing from other municipalities without the bid or otherwise.
Okay. I'll make that motion. All in favor? Opposed, none? Resolution creating 5 laborers position.
Are these positions permanent?
Yes. These are the ones we talked about with civil service? Okay. Just for anybody that's interested, it's $9 an hour for a maximum of 35 hours per week. It's just a laborer, cutting grass, trimming trees, basically what the guys are doing now, but on a lower scale. The guys that are in there now are actually qualified to drive the sweeper, the lawnmowers and whatnot. These guys will be coming in as a lower classification.
Back to potholes, please,
Right, potholes, they'll assist in potholes and removing debris and whatnot. I'll accept the motion. Motion made by Nick, seconded by Gary, all in favor? Opposed, none? And a resolution authorizing notice of claim to be served upon the New York State Secretary of State and authorizing the village clerk to complete a certificate of destination.
This is a new municipal law that was enacted in December 2012 by the governor, just to make the service of notice of claim easier on municipalities.
I'll make that motion. Second.
Second.
Nick, all in favor? Opposed, none? Okay. Yes. Okay, we're going to send out a request for a approval for RFP for hurricane cleanup. Just in case, we don't want no hurricane, but we want to make sure we're prepared. So I'll make that motion to send out an RFP. Second by Gail, all in favor? Opposed, none? And, what's that?
Request for proposals.
In other words, if you were a contractor and you wanted Neil to do some more work, you would do it on the project. He worked enough this weekend. Okay, we're gonna do trustees report. Gail?
Okay, for the month of June, we have 33 building, we have 49 rentals, 1 CEU, 11 CCs, and 27 property searches.
Any questions?
What do those things stand for?
CEU, certificate of existing use, and CCs are compliant, and then rentals and building permits.
Bob, you got the report?
The monthly code enforcement report for June 2013. Number of complaints received was 427. Number of appearance tickets was 71. Number of unfounded complaints was 37. Number of closed complaints by compliance was 155. And the number of warnings issued was 75. And the rest are still open for investigation. I would also like to present, as of this past Friday, we have started going on to abandoned property that hasn't been maintained, and we're sending crews in to cut the grass and start cleaning up. As of Friday to this date, 30 properties have been cleared, cut, lawns trimmed. We're charging back to the homeowners on their taxes $125 to $175, along with summonses will be issued. And as the police officer said before, we're starting to issue warnings are coming out, warrants are coming out of the court. We are sending a message that we're serious about cleaning up Mastic Beach. And then these folks are gonna have to take it seriously. As far as any homeowners and stuff who may have special reasons why they can't do it, all they have to do is let us know when we go to issue the warning. I'm sure through the neighborhood, we can get somebody to help us there in that dire need. As of yet, we haven't heard of anybody like this. This is mostly bank-owned property or absentee landlords who just don't give a damn. So I just want to let you know that's where we are. We have some summer hires out there and they seem to be doing a very good job.
Thank you. Gary?
I assume most everybody here knows Frank Perino. He was one of the first men on the highway. He's taken pretty ill, and he's not working with the village right now, and we don't know if he'll ever come back. And I hope everybody keeps him in their prayers and hopes the best for him. He was a tremendous asset in helping first starting the highway.
Okay, Nick? Got a resolution on BOCES bid 13114-016 for the purchase of a Chevy Tahoe in the sum of $44,279 for the village. Take a motion.
Someone else needs a call.
We'll do that.
Need it again?
How many people in the audience have read the Village Crier? Okay. I read it, it got the hair up on my back a little bit, and I'm going to respond to some of the paragraphs in there. Mr. Richard Smith, who was named in the crier to be the New York State Code and Building Supervisor, is not. He's a regional architect for the State of Code Enforcement and Division of Administration. I spoke with the man personally. He can only guide someone on his interpretation of the code that's in the book. The second one was, we were told in this village crier that Bill Doyle spoke with Mayor Biondi on 3 different occasions. He only spoke with him once. The other paragraph read that, let me get it right, if you feel that it's unfair and you've been discriminated against, call Agent Sinclair of the FBI Melville office. Agent Sinclair is just a intake control officer, and she's not with the FBI, she's an investigator. She's not an agent. Okay? And the last one was, and I spoke with her, yes, absolutely. The last one was the controller's office being contacted in reference to the division, a division that was created by the controller's office about hurricane cleanup fraud. I spoke with the controller's office. All he said in the report was that he was quoted as saying that all counties, towns, and villages should be using prevailing wages, and that if any homeowner had hired a contractor to repair their home, they should be aware of price gouging. And if a homeowner felt that way, they should contact the Suffolk DA's office and then his office. That covered all of those misrepresentations in his trial. Thank you.
Just to add one more, there was also something mentioned in there, the fact that the village was holding back, giving him permission to raise his house. In the beginning, prior to May 20th, the DEC had told us there was no change. You can go ahead and do it. You don't need no permits. Just do it. On May 20th of 2013 at 8:39 a.m., we received this memo from the DEC saying rules have changed. You now have to apply for a permit. So we did not hold up any permits for anybody. We're working as close as we can with everybody. I can't stress it enough. People call up, we need a disinfectant now. We had a call at 4:30. They called me up, they said, we're ready for inspection on the insulation. Can you send somebody down? I grabbed the guy, sent him down here. Guess what? They're not really ready yet.
Yeah.
They didn't think we would come so fast. So we are now going back tomorrow morning at 9 o'clock so we can give them permission to move on and put their sheetrock up. What we're trying to do is, we're not trying to defend ourselves, but there's a lot of false rumors out there, and if anybody hears these rumors, or people that don't even come read something, and they tend to believe it. We're just trying to let the people know we're doing the best job we possibly can. And, it's not an easy task. I gotta admit, we spent almost 3/4 of the day dealing with Suffolk County today. We're working out a deal with them. They have a lot of property in Mastic Beach, which they don't want to clean. But just like I would come after any resident here and say, you have to clean your property. They were told today they have to clean and maintain their property. Strangely enough, most of the property the county owns have derelict houses on them, which we're going to be probably taking them down or maybe even purchasing them. The rest of the property is all parklands. So now I have to meet with the park commissioner to arrange some kind of a cleanup. But we work on it. Every day is a new venture. Just to let somebody know, we're also working with the Suffolk County Sheriff's Department. They have an honor group that will go out, clean roads, and do light maintenance work. So if you see people in orange jumpsuits, don't be afraid. They're being well supervised by home sheriffs, and they're going to actually come down and help us also. We're trying to do everything we can to get help again. On another note, there is no good news to tell you on the replenishing of the sand at Smith Point. They still haven't found a contractor to do it. Spoke with Kate Browning again today. The money hasn't come down yet. We met with New York State today. Mr. Cuomo put another government layer in between. We now have to deal with the state of New York. It's actually a 2-year project. It's rebuilding bigger and better. What they're going to do is we have a committee of about 12 residents in the Tri-Hamlet area. Some of them are as much as a commissioner from the firehouse, an ambulance company member, somebody from the school superintendent, Mr. Cassiano. And what they're going to do is they're going to form this committee, meet on like an every other week basis, and try to build Mastic Beach bigger and better. The problem that I had with it today is they called it the Tri-Hamlet Group. I'm not worried about, and if anybody lives outside of Mastic Beach, I'm not worried about Montauk Highway or Shirley or North Mastic. Mastic Beach got hit by the storm. We have to worry about Mastic Beach. So they got the point. They're actually looking to open up their office right here on Neighborhood Road. We have a 2,000 square foot building, one of Mr. Sanzone's building. It's been occupied for a long time. He's going to fix it up. They're looking real close and moving in there. So at least he'll be collecting rent for commercial building for at least the next 2 years. Other than that, we're moving on. Every day I'm calling somebody. Everybody watches the Weather Channel. There is a hurricane way out there. You know, you ask the professionals, they say, I don't worry about it. I worry about it even if it's just off the coast of Africa, because there's a possibility it could come up here, and we're really not ready for it yet. A lot of people put a lot of time and effort to fix their property up, and that barrier beach still has, you know, a big concern for me, so. Other than that, we'll open up to the public portion. If the public would like to speak, please come up to the podium, sign in, and we'll allow you 2 minutes.
I just want to mention for the 6th public hearing that it is a year now that the July 2012 minutes are not on the website, nor are the November or December. And so they're supposed to be up there after 2 weeks. We're not even current now. We're up to April 4th, I believe.
Maura, if I can interrupt, I'll be happy to give you Generation's phone number. We've been telling them day in and day out to put it. They are no longer going to be our website masters. We're actually having an RFP out for a new one. So that will change. We have no way of doing it. You know webmasters, they have to do it. We don't have control over it.
That is correct.
If you'd like a copy of it, we'd be happy to give you it.
Yes, I would. I've been asking for it for 5 months now. I just paid my taxes. I had a $300 garbage tax. The contract I thought was 3 years for Quickway, $239 a home. Where is the 61 extra dollars per home? It's over $1 million in the 3 years. So I'm being charged $300 under a garbage tax. The Quickway people are being paid $239. That means there's $61 per home that is not going to the waste management or garbage. According to Stacy, the new treasurer, correct? She said that is supposed to have a resolution to transfer the funds to the general funds. You guys have not done that in 3 years. You need to do that. Speaking about storms, I know you did the RFPs. Does that count as the emergency storm management plan, doing the RFPs, or is that only part of the emergency storm management plan? When are we doing our emergency storm management plan? It was supposed to be done 3 years ago. In the audit from you or whoever did the audit, it was recommended, highly recommended, that we get an emergency storm management plan. I believe that was before Sandy they recommended that. Not one oil tank has been strapped down or cemented in. No change in our code, nothing. I have watched every single oil tank that floated up and dumped thousands of gallons of oils in Mastic Beach into the water, all be put back exactly the same way, with no requirement that they're strapped down, no requirement that they're cemented in. So again, if we get a flood, all those oil tanks are going to be flipped over and dumping oil back in. I mean, my neighbors still, every time it rains, I have to smell like a refinery next to my house. You guys, I gave you the pictures, I showed you what it looked like. Went right back up the exact same way. I don't understand why we haven't made some type of resolution, law, or code to make sure that people are putting these oil tanks, making sure they're not going to float away again. I brought this up again and again. And just real quick, Nick went to my first village court, saw Trustee Busa was working in the court, I believe. I thought in the Constitution you can't work as an executive and also work with the judicial branch. Perhaps I'm wrong. Perhaps this is some, as far as I know, you're not allowed to work as an executive officer and then go work in the judicial branch. Perhaps village law allows for it, but I'm pretty sure it doesn't. I'll let Ryan ponder that and let us know. And please, I would like July, December, November 2012 minutes. Thank you.
I just quickly want to say, I'm loud. It's working?
Now you gotta push it up.
It's on. Okay, now it's on. I know that the town has to come and clean up, or the banks have to come and clean up the houses that they own. If they could make something in writing as to what that entails, because some of the houses that they come and clean up, when they leave, you really can't even tell that anybody's been there. Yes, there's a few, places that they've actually cut over, but there's still, nobody ever picks up garbage, nobody ever picks up if there's any down limbs or anything. They cut around it, so over time, that property's not cut at all, because it's covered with waste that's been left behind. So if they could just work on that.
If you can, after the meeting, give us the addresses on it, because then we'll go after the individual. They're supposed to clean up by cutting the grass, picking up the garbage, anything that's on the property, they're supposed to remove it. I mean, we don't monitor them, but they are supposed to come in here every other week to do it. So if they're coming in doing a half-hazard job,
They're taking pictures, and it's funny because I was watching, they're taking pictures of that little bit that they did cut, and nobody's looking at the areas that they totally haven't touched, and one of the houses happens to be 7 years, they haven't touched half of it.
okay.
So,
Give us
I
the
think-
address, we'll get on it first thing tomorrow morning.
Okay.
Thank you.
Hi guys, I haven't been here for several months because I'm working at night now, but I took off an hour and a half early tonight because Maureen DeMayo was not here. And she begged me to please come and be the beggar. Okay, so I am the beggar tonight for outreach, so any dollars or pennies that you have, I'll be in the back.
Is she okay?
Hey, they're fine, I think they just went away and she had somebody else tell me to please do this, okay? Good luck, everybody. I don't agree with everything, but such is life, right? We're working hard, are we not?
Absolutely.
I just, my name is Pat Conover, and I just bought the recently.
Patty, use the mic.
Oh, sorry. My name is Pat Conover, and I recently put plans, and I recently purchased the adjacent property to us. We are on the wetlands, and we want to leave it wetlands. What, do we have to mow that? Like, what is up with that? We want to leave it wetlands. You can't mow it, right?
You can't mow it, yeah.
Yeah, good, right, because I just want to stay the way it is.
That was easy.
Yeah, that was a good one.
Any other questions?
Hi, I'm Susan Plunkett. Our trustees are constantly volunteering. To keep our taxes low, we decided that we needed volunteers to run this village, basically. I wish the people that are constantly complaining about our village would get involved. I never see these people helping to volunteer as simple as putting the flowers in the planters, which we did the other week, or as complex as getting involved immediately after Sandy and cleaning up our village quicker than any place else and doing a great job. Constructive criticism is welcome. Constant negativity is ignored. Get involved, volunteer, and make a difference instead of constantly complaining.
Thank you.
I got the pen over here.
Okay.
I didn't want to go past, this is hers, give it to her. No, it goes to her. It goes to her. I didn't want to force everybody.
Alright, sorry guys. I want to echo what Susan said. I agree 100%. I think everybody should get out there, volunteer. I'm sad we didn't go with the town for the town cleanup day this year. I thought we were going to do that in April. I'm surprised we didn't. We have done it every other year. I believe, had people known about the planting of the flowers, we knew nothing about it.
Let me interrupt. We were out there.
I didn't see anything, didn't know anything about the village doing it. There was no signs up, nothing on the website, nothing anywhere. No flyers, no newsletter.
Did you call Village Hall and ask if they were involved?
Listen, it should be in a newsletter. The town used to send me a newsletter instead.
That's what we're saying, make a newsletter.
I'm just saying, I'm surprised that we were not notified of that, and I'm sorry to say, I didn't know anything about the town planting of flowers. And
You're in the town, did you get their newsletter?
excuse me, I read at the town's newsletter.
Did they tell you to go out and clean up? Oh, must have missed it. They must have missed it.
Jack, let's leave the crossfire out.
It's not your time, it's their time. Thank you very much. Also, we've offered to let the village use the watering cart that we have numerous times. I'm surprised nobody's taken us up on that
We need
offer.
that.
But we have
We
one.
need it.
We have one.
Because
I'm just
they're
saying we
dying
offered.
already.
And again, if we had been notified of the property owners, we certainly would have had people come out and put it on our newsletter and through our website to let people know there was a planting. I mean, we did it for years and years. So in the future, I'm just saying, let us know. We'll put it out to all of our people as well. And last but not least, July 27th, we have the Nautical Sea Fest during the day. We'd say, please enjoy that all day. Come to Music by the Bay at the Marina 1 on July 27th at that night. It should be lovely all day. Whatever we can do to publicize good at Mastic Beach, whether it's the Sea Fest or Music by the Bay, we should all be encouraging people to go to both events, okay? And I just think everybody should come out. We have 3 great bands, one from the high school, one from the fire department, all the guys from the fire department are in a band from the Mastic Beach Fire Department, and
I'll
Touch
stay
It-
home then.
Yeah, and Touch It Gray, which is a really great band that's been around a long time. So everybody make it out on the 27th, and tell your friends to come to Mastic.
More, just to let you know, and it's no secret, there's been a problem between the village and the property owners and communications. I gotta say, within the last 3 weeks, myself, the board, and Mr. Collins from the property owners who represents them, it's kind of like a truce. We're working together. We don't want to see anybody suffer, whether it's village residents or property owners residents or boat owners. We're all trying to work together to achieve the same goal. A little friction before, we have an excellent talking relationship between the property owners and us. I was actually with the property owners last Friday. A little noisy in there, but not my kind of music, but we all gotta get along. We all live in the same town.
We all have
And
to
it's
get
pretty
along.
crazy that you walk by somebody you know for years, and it's like they don't see you. Come on, let's get over it.
That's right, we should work along, and I think on the 27th, that Saturday, we can all show, it's like siblings, we might not love each other all the
But we
time,
need to get
put on a
along.
good face for everybody else, that's how I feel.
Thank you.
During the week, I got a mailing, I guess maybe other people did too, about recycling from New York City. That was a mistake, I presume, that we received it.
I have mine here somewhere. I don't know what the
I don't know what happened.
the mayor's doing.
Apparently, the answer is what happened. Everybody, apparently the person, instead of sending it to the mailing house, New York City residents, they sent it to New York State residents. So we got a lot of calls, all the villages got a lot of calls about that exact same thing.
Because I'm sure there were lots of things on that list that you don't want.
Correct. Yeah.
Thank you.
That's what they get to do, and that's why they stay down somewhere, and their own mail out.
Frank Capiello. I just want to say, there are people who sit here and throw stones, okay? Especially, we just listened to Maura.
I wasn't throwing
If you look at the marinas, there are fences laying down, boards laying everywhere, garbage everywhere, and she's complaining we don't clean up the village. Before you start complaining, clean up your house.
I pay taxes, Frank. I pay taxes in the village.
Just to let,
People pay Marina.
the
People pay for
Give us our
Mastic
money they
Beach
gave us from the
Village
state,
News and
we will.
Update letter went out.
You're holding our money.
Actually, showed up at my house today. A lot of good stuff in there.
Give us the money we got.
We've been to a lot of places. We went in front of Suffolk County legislators to fight with them in reference to the dunes. There's three new businesses open up on Neighborhood Road. People could just try to stop in here and try their food. Some of it's not bad. It depends on what you like. I can go to McDonald's and some of the stuff is not bad.
It's all good.
But it's, one of them is California Fish and Chips. The other one is the Neighborhood Deli and Mart, which actually was a restaurant before it was that. It actually converted. Did a lot of work inside there. The place is beautiful in there. And his food is good. Hey, what?
No bacon, no pork.
No, wow.
I went for breakfast, I could get my bacon.
And then there's another place on Mastic Road,
Yeah,
across the street from TJ's. Excellent food. Matter of fact, I've actually brought some food home to my wife, and she's wow, this is good. So, what's the name of it then? Las Delicias, something like that. But the only way we're going to survive in this town with commercial is we try to support it as best as possible. So give it a try once. If it attacks you in any way, don't come here. Thanks. I'm sorry? We don't know. Actually, we see the refrigerators are in there, so he's opening up soon, I hope. And there's a place right across from Village Hall. Used to be a restaurant there. She should be opening up pretty soon.
What is she gonna be doing?
In July. Also, if anybody hasn't filled out the natural gas survey, please get it into me as soon as possible. I'm really trying to get at least 2/3 of the residents of Mastic Beach to submit it.
Why do you think that would be more beneficial? I mean, more beneficial?
Well, we won't have to worry about more telling us the oil tax and the gas tax are flipping over. It actually works out. If you would have had natural gas lines coming in here during the storm, most of the houses that had the mold growing probably would have been all right, because natural gas, the systems they have now, they're actually high. They're actually units that mount up on the wall. They could look like air conditioners. And it serves a better purpose than an oil burner. Most of your oil burners are down in your basement or in crawl spaces and whatnot, a lot of them got destroyed. But most of the places where they had natural gas, they didn't have too many problems. Yeah, they did in Nassau County, where a lot of them were flooded out, and they had to relight old pilots and everything. But as soon as we get the statistics to Mr. DeMarinis, who's the Vice President of Gas Production, will present that. I think each homeowner gets so many feet, and then it's just basically like the water mains are. You get so many feet per household, and then the more people you get, the less it costs the village. But we're also looking for a grant to do it. So hopefully if we get the grant, it'll be... Right now, no, but don't leave that out, because National Grid said that sometimes they have grants, especially when they come into a new area and there's over 5,000 homes in here. So if you get 5,000 people, National Grid's going to make out pretty good.
Are you gonna force the people to convert to gas?
Absolutely not. Absolutely not. It's your choice. Yep.
So not everybody has to do it, some could do it, some not?
Correct. They can go to your house and the neighbor on the other side chose not to have it. They don't get it. All right. Pending no other questions, I'll accept the motion to go to executive session for personnel. I want to thank everybody for coming, and have a safe summer. We'll see you next month. Thank you.
Wow, that was a quick meeting for me.